Passion Week, a short story written and narrated by Anton Elin. He sat behind the wheel, tired, bronzed from the bright summer sun, smelling of fresh alpine meadows, crusty warm bread and wine, a little exhausted from playing with the kids and passionate kisses with his wife, but still filled with a happy peace and sweet oblivion that only a joyful father of a happy family can experience. A day spent with his children and wife in nature had given him strength and vigor, and he knew that another week of restless sleep in airplanes, hotels, and tedious office meetings wouldn't be able to kill this extraordinary feeling of wholeness and harmony with everything that exists. He was driving his family home. They slept while he thought and remembered. Once he had been young, dreamy, and open. Life was entirely different. He wanted too much and lacked patience and endurance. He often felt fear but strived to be a hero. He hated losing but lost more and more often. He couldn't stand goodbyes, yet he said them often. He wanted to live and indeed did live, although in his youth he didn't realize it. He often fell in love, and once he loved truly deeply. God, how long ago that was, as if in another realm, some different world. Back then, it seemed time had stopped. The trees stood still. The world held its breath. The heavens opened, and a radiant light illuminated the tired earth from the cold snow. That's when that wonderful spring arrived, warm and tender, full of gentleness and fragrant flowers. That girl was older than him, and he hesitated for a long time to dare to confess his feelings. He suffered, knowing in advance that it wouldn't work out, that he wouldn't be understood, but he was understood. He trembled, and she saw it. But what did she think? He would never know. It was already late. The night had cooled the day, but his feelings burned ever stronger. They walked side by side, holding hands for some reason. Then she just understood everything, and she got scared. They hugged and couldn't come to their senses for a long time. The mystical patriarch's ponds, the ever-busy garden ring, a series of inexplicable coincidences, the first kiss, all blended into one tangled ball of unearthly experiences. And the whole following week up to Easter, this amazing, passionate week, seemed to fall out of the hectic life of the capital, disappearing forever. He forgot about everything in the world, waking from a lazy nap, feeling alive at last, stopped getting annoyed and sad over trifles. He flew on wings and gave flowers, reveled in poetry, and dreamed of a bright future. But how fleeting earthly happiness can be, and how ironically fate treats us. The clock moved on, the heavy pendulum swung, and the noise from the dusty street burst in through the window. A lot of time had passed, but he still secretly remembered her shining, radiant eyes, her lush, fragrant hair, her light and quick gait, her thin, beautiful lips, which he had once been lucky enough to kiss. And it was still hard for him to remember how, feeling depressed and full of despair, he gave her horrible dark roses when she loved yellow flowers, loved life, and was happy. Strangely, she went to the sea then, and he to the mountains. Did they come back different? Probably yes. Happier? He certainly did not. Wiser, calmer, perhaps even more callous, but sad, tired, and focused. And still, why did this happen in his life, he thought, gripping the steering wheel tighter? Why didn't they stay together? Why did this story have no continuation? Yes, she didn't love him as much, but she felt good with him. Yes, she feared for her future children, for her family happiness, but he was so sure he could give her all that. Where did this confidence come from in him, a young, inexperienced, but daring, strong, and wildly imaginative person? Where did her certainty of the impossibility of being together come from? Can one be sure of anything in this fickle, capricious life, when its script is constantly being rewritten and rewritten anew? Maybe tomorrow his plane will be blown up by a gang of crazed terrorists. Maybe tomorrow will be just like yesterday. No one knows and cannot know. All one can know is that today is a wonderful day, that it was warm, the birds sang, and the lilacs smelled sweet. He was with a loved one in a marvelous fairy tale land, and his heart joyfully beat with happiness and tenderness. And tomorrow? Well, who cares what tomorrow will bring? Tomorrow may never come, but today will remain forever. The car silently turned off the highway and swiftly headed through the dark thicket. Just a little more, and they would be home. There awaited him a hot cup of tea with milk, a shower, and the warmth of their cozy bedroom. There, peace and simple everyday life reigned. There were no more passions and sufferings, no more sleepless nights, no more poetry, only prose, work, and well-deserved rest. The radio played softly, and suddenly he heard a familiar melody. He didn't immediately recognize it, but when he did, his eyes filled with tears, and he, surprised and amazed at himself, hurried to take out a tissue. I'm an incurable romantic, he thought, and smiled. They had attended that wonderful concert. Then she was full of joy, but she still didn't know about his feelings. They stood in the crowd and danced, cheerfully singing along with the performers, and he so wanted to hug her, but was afraid. She said she would never forget that concert. He wondered, did she keep her promise? Was she happy? How sincerely he wanted her to be happy. Was he happy? Yes, but it was a different kind of happiness. The happiness of being a father and a husband gradually turns into something habitual, something obligatory and intangible, and there are no more passions. Their place is taken by simple joy of observation. The joy of seeing your children laugh, of seeing your wife's face light up with happiness as she holds her newborn baby for the first time. The joy of standing in a church and watching your son or daughter get married. Yes, joy, but also sorrow if someone falls ill or is simply sad. Love, like life, is changeable. It flows in our veins, shimmering and shining with a soft light, giving life and sanctifying our actions, sometimes teasing, being capricious and demanding too much. But if it weren't there would be nothing but the chaos of street disorder. And there's no need to be sad that it leaves, because it doesn't leave, but only hides very deep, reminding us of itself from time to time, tenderly taking us by the hand and leading us to the airy valleys of eternal universal peace. She woke up, looked at him, and gently wiped the tear from his face. "Why are you crying?" she asked thoughtfully. "I'm happy." She inhaled the scent of fresh yellow alpine flowers he had picked for her the day before, and, hugging him, whispered softly, "Me too."